Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota, and I'm here to bring you our weekly live paper crafting class. I'm so excited to share with you because I am going to expand a kit. Kits are one of my very favorite things to work with. Stampin' Up! Kits are in two lines with, Stampin' Up! Has two lines of kits. They have the paper pumpkin kits, and then they have another kit grouping called the Kits Collection. We're going to be playing around with one of the newer Kits Collection kits today. So what is today? Today is Wednesday, October 19th. 2022 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm broadcasting to you live. So if you're watching this afterwards, you can comment in the after live comment area. If you're watching this during the live and you're on YouTube, you can comment in the live chat. And we do have a couple moderators because we're broadcasting to both Facebook and YouTube. So a big welcome to Lisa Marshall, who is over on Facebook, reading through comments and making sure everyone's guided to where they need to be for answers. And then we also have Trisha Josephs on YouTube. In the YouTube description, I already have, just the way technology allows me to set things up, I already have in the description the supplies listed for the project that we're going to make today, and I also have the link to my blog post, also other links too. But I will transfer that information over to the Facebook video after the recording is done. So if you're new to my channel, hello, I hope you stay because this is great. This project that I'm making today, I'm going to double a kit, is great for all crafters, but especially if you're totally new to crafting. This is one of the greatest things to start out with is kits. Please like, subscribe, give me the thumbs up. I would appreciate any of that. And if you decide to share, if you can share this video with other people while we're live or after the live, comment that you shared. I love hearing who has done that. That's fun to see. So I think that's it. Oh, and a big welcome to all of you who continue to come back and see my videos. Love you. Okay, so we're going to take the Christmas gifting kit by Stampin' Up! And we're going to add just cardstock, envelopes, and some elegant twine that's a silver color, although you could choose the gold too because it comes in the same package. And that's all we're going to do to double this kit. We're going to actually convert the kit also. It's a tag kit that holds gift cards, and we're going to convert it to cards that hold gift cards. So, all right, let's go over to, let's do that first. Let's bring in the supply and measurement list. So I'm going to bring you over to my computer. And you can take a screenshot of this if you'd like to, but you don't need to because once the blog post goes live at 12:15 p.m. Central Time, so just an hour and 15 minutes after the live begins, then you are able to download this. You click on the blog post and you can just click on the PDF link and it will show up on your computer. So you don't have to do a screenshot if you don't want to. You can see a peek at the cards. That's actually a larger peek than I put on the preview screen for the video. So you can see a little bit more of what the cards are going to look like. They have a black base. You can change that base out if that bugs you, but I thought it went best with the darkness that's in the card or the tag supplies. So I love black. I think it really shows off colors. It makes it really like, I don't know, burst out at you when you're looking at them. So Christmas gifting kit doubled. So you can see I've got imperial and metric measurements. Yay! I took the time to do that this week. Things are slowing down. Our remodel is coming to a close. Linda Crawford was asking how it's going, if I should post pictures yet, and we still are waiting on a couple things. We have a door, a new front door that's going in, and you'd be able to see that in the photos if I took pictures now. We don't want to see the old door. It's really ugly. So we're waiting on our front door, and then we have to paint the insides of those. The door has arrived. We just have to wait for the install on that. And yeah, and then we just have some things to hang on the wall. So I'm so excited because it's done. Well, it's almost done, and life is coming back to kind of like a more calm pace. Metric measurements, imperial measurements, check those out. The metric is based on A4 size cardstock, and the imperial is based on the letter size cardstock. So if you have letter size cardstock, you don't want to be using the metric measurements, just so you know. Supplies, very few. The kit contains everything that you need. It is so much fun to get a kit. So this is what the kit looks like in the kits collection. Most of them come in a box this size. It's similar to the paper pumpkin size boxes, just has a different labeling on the top. And sometimes there are kits in the kits collection that contain 12 by 12 things, so then they would come in a different size box. But most of them are in this size box. When you open it up, typically you have inks, you have a stamp set, you have a clear block. So you have the things that you need in order to stamp, right? You can continue to save these up too. Like if you're a kit collector, you can get a whole big bunch of clear blocks so that you don't have to worry about changing out so many. When I used to do in-person classes, I had to invest in a ton of these clear blocks. I have like 5 times as many of these than you see here. I have a ton. I don't need that many as someone who doesn't hold in-person classes anymore, but I'll tell you, it's nice to have quite a few, and then I can clean them maybe like once a week instead of after each time I craft. And the way I clean them, just if you're a beginner, is I just take like an alcohol wipe and I wipe over the surfaces of them. But you can take them and put them into like a sink in the kitchen with some, I don't know, Dawn dish detergent or something. Just wash them that way too. It's basically the ink, and sometimes there's sticky adhesive that will cling to them, but that's it. And then they're ready to go again. So I'm going to use my ergonomic box. You can see there's a difference between the 2 different D-size blocks. You get a D-size block. These are a little bit easier to hold because they have a place for your finger to grasp. And you can invest in blocks off the Stampin' Up! The store if you want to. But yeah, how are we doing, everybody? I didn't even click on the comments to see comments rolling in. Are we live on Facebook? I hope so. So what else do I want to tell you about kits? They come with adhesive. So I've already used up some of the adhesive in this kit to make my samples that I photographed already. You can see I didn't use hardly any dimensionals. There's not a lot of dimensionals there. And I didn't use any of the glue dots because I tend to prefer these glue dots, which are the ones you can buy in the online store, and the snail. The snail is super quick and easy to use. Hello, Facebook. Hey, Zoe. Zoe's live with us on Facebook. I am rooming with her in Vienna in just a few weeks. We're going to Vienna for a Stampin' Up! Convention called On Stage. And she's over in the UK. Nice to see you, Zoe. All right, so I didn't use these, but I am going to tell you that this is, don't let go of these, because these are great for really, really tiny things too. I don't throw these away. I tend to use them up, just not as fast as these. So what else do we have? Well, we have the kit contents, and inside my box it's pretty bare now because I took most everything out. You can see a set of supplies are still left in there. You can see that the sheets here that I punched pieces out of are still in there. Now, don't get rid of them because you can do alternate projects, or you can use these scraps for other things. Like this scrap would be totally perfect to do some punching of little circles out or cutting strips. So you have sentiment pieces. You could use the white or the soft succulent side. And then we have some extra sentiment pieces too. This kit came with a couple extra, but I'm not going to be using those. Okay, so what did I bring in? Oh, and this is what the tags look like. Sorry, I didn't even show you the finished tags yet. This is what this kit will produce. 9 tags, 3 of 3 different kinds. And you can see that they have this fun little design on the front, but on the back, and you can't really tell unless you open up the instructions here. On the back, this is the front, this is the back. You have the white side of the bigger tag here. It's kind of hard to see there, I guess. And then you have this pocket. So this piece here is tied onto the back, so you can have a little pocket area. And they kind of slide over each other unless you want to tape them together. You could do that too. But yeah, so it's a 2-sided tag with a place for a pocket. Oh, here you can see a peek of it right there. Okay. You can see the instructions, or I'm sorry, the supplies are listed on the back. And then you also have, let's see here, QR code here, detailed instructions. So you can scan that and you can watch instructions on how to make the kits as is, as intended, I should say. This is what I brought in. I brought in some basic white medium envelopes. I brought in some Sweet Sorbet cardstock, and I brought in some basic black. Now, Sweet Sorbet is not one of the colors that is listed in the back, because it does list, I believe it does. Maybe it doesn't. The paper pumpkin kits do. Well, the coordinating colors you can find in the online store description. Here, there they are. Real Red is listed, but look at this. I'm going to show you the difference between Real Red and Sweet Sorbet. This is Real Red, and this is, and if I can pull it out of my folder, Sweet Sorbet. So it's almost like a lighter version. Thank you everyone for wishing us a good time on our trip. It's going to be amazing. So you can see that this Sweet Sorbet is almost like a stamped off version, right? So it's just a lighter tone. And I thought that would be better for the inside of the card than a darker color. I'm already using black on the outside of the card. So I went with Sweet Sorbet instead of the Real Red. I'm going to set these aside. This is a given. You're going to need to have some envelopes if you're going to have cards, right? So how many cards are we making? Well, we have 9 tags and we're going to double what we can get. We're going to get 18 cards from this kit. I've already done a set of 6 and I can do 2 more sets of 6. I'm going to do 1 set of 6 in front of you though. So I'm going to set that aside. You're going to need 18 envelopes if you're going to make cards out of this. And then you're going to need, I think, 3 sheets of the Sweet Sorbet and 1, 2, 3, sorry, just counting, 6. So that would be 3 sheets. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus another sheet. You need 12 of the black. I think. All right. And then as far as twine goes, look at the Simply Elegant trim. It comes in 2 different colors. So you could choose. You can pick or choose your metallic accent by having a little, having this as your embellishment. So instead of using like my favorite, which is rhinestones, right? I decided to use twine. Because I think it just needs a little bit more zip. It does come with twine, very little, and I wanted to make the twine area of the cards a little bit bigger and bolder. So I've doubled these colors with the silver. So we're going to set the twine off to the side because we're going to need that. I'm also substituting the color, although you wouldn't need to. You could use the shaded spruce. It's a nice dark, bright green that would go really well on these cards. I just chose to use the black. I like my basic black colors. So tuxedo black is just bold and strong. So I'm going to set that aside. We've got our blocks, we've got our stamps, we've got our dimensionals, and seriously, I don't think you'll need any more than this for your dimensionals. And I'm going to keep this here along with my other glue dots because I probably will use them just because of preference. I'm also bringing in the Stampin' Pierce mat. Did you guys just did your jaws just drop? Rachel remembered. Rachel remembered the Stampin' Pierce mat. It is a great thing to use with the totally clear stamps because if you look, there is no foam attached to totally clear stamps. Our photopolymer, which is what this is called, does not come with a foam kind of cushion like our cling stamps do. And so when you're stamping, if you have an uneven surface or I don't know, you wobble a little bit when you stamp or whatever, the firm foam surface of the Stampin' Pierce mat allows you to get a nice even stamp. Especially with bolder things. Now, if you're using a solid stamp, maybe it's a circle that's colored in or something, and that's the way the stamp image looks, then you definitely want to invest in the Stampin' Pierce mat. They call it the Stampin' Pierce mat because you can also pierce it. And you can see I have one that I have for just my piercing, and I have one that doesn't have the punctured holes all over it for my stamping. Okay. We've got our 1 sheet of the Sweet Sorbet sitting out here. I'm bringing in my paper trimmer because we're going to need to trim. And then I'm also, and I think that's it from my sweet sorbet, although it's nice to have scraps in case you want to do any extra layers or whatever. This is how I store my cardstock. My 8.5 by 11 is stored in these letter size file folders, and then I just hang them, and I keep my scraps with my full-size cardstock. So here's my basic black folder, which has really seen its day. It's it's kind of ratty looking, but we're going to pull out of here a couple sheets of black. We're going to pull out of here some bigger scraps, and we're going to do our cutting now. We have to prepare our card bases. So we're going to take and cut. I'm sorry, first we're going to score, and I'm going to zoom out just a tad here. So you need a reminder to use the mat too. Kathy, high five. And thank you. Katie commented on the red sweater. I try to coordinate my clothing with what I'm showing, sometimes even my jewelry. In fact, I have jewelry on from when I was in high school because it looks like twine with rhinestones in it. I'm having fun. I used to do my nails, but I have since done some destruction to my nails, and I no longer do my nails, well, unless there's like a blue moon or something. Once in a blue moon, right? But yes, so I try to coordinate my clothes now. We are going to score in this direction at 2.5 inches. I've got my arm of my trimmer pulled up. I've got my scoring blade separate from my cutting blade. Push my cutting blade out of the way. I want to bring this to the 2.5 inch mark, and I'm going to score. This is going to become the bottom part of the card, and it's going to form the pocket. We're going to flip it around this way. Normally, a letter size card is 4.25 by 5.5. So if we are doing 2.5 here, we want to have 3 up here. So we're going to score at 3. And those two score lines are just going to meet. I was playing around with the 12 by 12 cardstock, but that only gave me an extra inch. And I didn't like the look of having the tags kind of sit off the edge of an overlapping hanging portion of the card. It just didn't look like I wanted it to. So we're going to add one more layer to the top to make it a full front. So we've got our 3-inch score, we've got our 2.5 in this way, and then we'll just take and cut down the middle. So we've scored both of the 2 cards at the same time to save on time. And then we slice down the middle. We've got it lined up with the 4.25 inch mark. And now we've got our bases. And this is what it will look like. This is the pocket. This is the top. And we're going to add another layer to make it a full top. You can see how they line up there because 3 plus 2.5 is 5.5. We're going to set those 2 aside. We're going to do that one more time. So 2.5. And we're putting our cardstock in so that we're scoring parallel to the short end. This is the short end. And parallel means in the same direction. So now we're going to go parallel to the short end in this direction at 3 inches. Parallel to the long end at 4.25, because 4.25 is half of 8.5. We've got our bases done. We need to cut some layers that go over the top. And I did say in the directions, I just want to make sure. Oh, thanks, Tara. She commented on my math skills. I really love math. I do. It's like a passion. It's like something that I wish I could do all day long. I know it's really weird, but there were times where I would have algebraic races with my friends. We were nerds in math. It's crazy. Okay, so 3.5 by 4.25. I was also socially okay too. So, all right. So you can see this piece here is 4 1/8. We need 4 1/4. So I would have to cut this in this direction to get the 4 1/8. So we're going to cut it here. And then we're going to cut at, what did I say? 3.5? 3.5. So I just took one of my scraps from my folder, and I got my 4 1/4 by 3.5. And this layer will go on top like that to finish off the bottom edge. See how it's going to connect right there? And there's about an inch overlap. So we'll do that. Now, if you have some scraps in your bin that aren't quite 3.5, so this one, if I zoom in here, you can see it's just shy of 3.5. That's going to be okay, but you definitely want to have 4 1/4 for the letter size, because we need to have it at least carry over the width of that card. So I'm going to do a couple that are that size as well. So 4 1/4 by just under 3 1/2, totally fine. That way I'm using up my scraps in the wisest way. Okay, all right, so we've got all of our pieces cut except for our sweet sorbet. I'm going to take and put that away. Okay, sweet sorbet. It's one of our newer colors. Ooh, now we're really close. This color, thanks, Linda. No, I guess I was commenting on that because sometimes when you think of people who are really into academics, that wasn't me. I was a B student too, like A's and B's, but I just had a passion for math. So I wasn't so absorbed where I didn't have a social type of knowledge. There are kids that, anyways, I love them. I used to be a teacher, but I'm just saying. Okay, I'm going to shut up because I'm digging a hole. 4 inches. Our minds, we're all made differently. And sometimes our minds are so filled with academics that we forget how to socialize maybe, or we just, I don't know. I'm going to shut up. It's not even forgetting. Oh my goodness. I'm done. Rachel. Okay, we just cut that at 4 inches. Oh, I hope you guys don't think that, okay, I'm going to just be quiet there. My goodness, Rachel. I just cut these to 4 inches wide, and now I'm going to cut smaller sections here. I hope you guys are laughing at me. These sections are going to be, and I put the measurements in there wrong for what I actually did. I actually did a little bit shorter than 5 1/2 because the pocket is going to cover up part of it. So you don't have to do the full 5 1/4, okay? We could do a 5 1/4 inch piece, but I'm going to go down a little bit here. So ignore the 5 1/4 inch measurement unless you really want to. I'm just going to leave it there because it will work fine, okay? But I'm going to go to 3 1/2 inches here. And I'm cutting both of them at the same time. Thank you, Linda. Here's 3 1/2 inches here. And then if you do that, you can get all 6 pieces for one set of cards out of one sheet. I'm going to save these also. These pieces are going to come in handy. So don't throw away these little 1/2 inch strips. If you do throw them away, just grab more scraps from your bin. Okay, thanks you guys. All right, next, we need to use our bone folder. So I'm going to grab that tool and I'm going to do some crisp folds here. All right, we need all these pieces off to the side here, brought in. These are our black layers that go over the top. And then we need all of these scored. So we're creating 6 cards today because if you know how to do the 6, then you can just multiply that 6 by, by 3, and you can do the whole kit, okay? You guys are so sweet to me. Thank you for your comments. All right. Okay, bone folders are nice. You do not have to have this as one of your immediate tools if you're a beginning crafter. You can use just, like your fingers, kind of crease it like that. But over time, it kind of wears and tears on your thumbnail. So bone folder is just a nice tool for that. You can also do curling with it. Like if I wanted to curl this cardstock, I could do that. Burnishing, so if you have adhesive on something, you can really press the 2 pieces together well. It's a nice tool. It's just not a needed tool right away. And I'll say right away because over time, you're definitely going to feel like you need it. Okay, we're going to stack those things off to the side, and now we're going to bring in the pieces from the kit. You know what? Hot flashes are related to stress in my world. I'm like still hot right now, you guys. Whew. All right. So we have we have the pieces that you would need for our 3 tags. So these are the pieces that if you wanted to make the kit as is, you would pair all of these up. You can see though, look at this. This punches out and you have 2 separate pieces. Don't throw that away. That's a usable piece. It looks like a Christmas tree, right? And then the same thing with these. They've got their punched out pieces. And the reason why they punch out is because on the tags, if you recall, they have this pattern showing through, and that is the back side of these pockets. So these hang, they connect together at the top, and when you flip it over, you can see the back side of that pocket piece, and it will go right through and show off that cutout even more, okay? All right, so we want to separate those, and then another thing that we want to do, and this takes a little bit of time, but you want to separate here. And normally, okay, if you've watched my paper pumpkin kit videos, I say trim. You could trim if you want to, but I really want the full shape of this. In fact, you know what? Let's trim one of them just to show you. You could probably still do it that way. But I wanted the full amount of cardstock that comes with these tags. And so what I did is I would just carefully as I could, peeled away the connection, okay? So I opened it up like that. And when you cut along the score line of all those pieces, and we'll just do that with the trimmer. I'm going to flip it over here so you can see that score line on here. And we're going to trim right through there, and then we're going to trim right through here. I'm just lining up that score line with the channel of the trimmer and slicing. You get 4 pieces here, and you can actually use all 4 pieces in these cards. Even these, like there's a white side to this one. So I'm going to flip those over. We're going to use these sides here. In fact, if this is bugging you, you have like a little bit of stuff that kind of comes off there, just peel it off, right? You're not going to see that it's a little less thick under there. So we're going to use that. And then like on this one here, peel this away here. You don't have a white side on this one. Instead, you have the red interior. Do you see that? So this one had a white interior, this one has the green interior, and this one has the red, the real red. Okay. The other one I'm going to cut just because I want to show you that you can cut too. If this bugs you to do all the trimming of these pieces this way, I'm going to show you on the last one how I normally do it with paper pumpkin kits. So I guess it just depends on how much of that cardstock you want. So on this one, do you see these? These are red now. So I'm going to save those because I may want a real red, which is the darker color of Sweet Sorbetish, right? I may want that real red as an accent on one of my cards. Okay, so on this last one, let's just trim it. So you're going to go right, this edge here is going to go right up and over to that darkest section. So here's the channel right through here. And then do you see that there's a little bit more darkness on the other side? That's about a 1/16 of an inch. And if we put it right where the white and the dark meet and we cut, we've removed a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, and we can do that on this side. And then we can do it on the bottom. The only problem with doing it this way, I just remembered, was that we don't have those little tabs. Okay, so we got 1/16 of an inch off. We just have these 2 pieces now, and we don't have these extra layers. All right, and if that doesn't bug you, that's okay. I'm going to show you where you can get another green, and you really have plenty of the reddish color anyways. Let's zoom back out. So you were going to get this kit before your crop? Oh, good. Susan is going to play around with this kit at her crop this weekend. Good, good, good. Okay, so now let's just kind of shove these off to one side, and I'm going to pull pieces in as we go, and we'll see what we have left at the end. Let's take our first card, grab our red, and for our inside, we're just going to take this piece and glue it down, tape it down. So I'm using my seal adhesive, and I got a little bit on my finger. Okay, and that's going to go right in here so that there's 1/8 of an inch all the way around on the sides and on that very top section. This is the 3-inch, this is the 2-inch. Then we're going to take and we're going to seal it up here too. And did I write down? I didn't write down. You can use regular seal adhesive because gift cards are typically, let's just grab a gift card here. Gift cards are typically, you know, that big, right? Oh, you can't even see it because it's black against black. We'll flip it over. So this was a gift card we already used. So tear and tape is another recommendation, but you can put your gift card in this way and you can definitely use the seal. I'm going to show you tear and tape just because I have it. So if you want to add this in, you would put it along the sides here. And it just tears up. It's really easy adhesive to use. Burnishing, this is where the bone folder comes in. It presses that adhesive down. And then you can grab like your scissors point or something and pick up the top layer here. Oops, there we go. And if you have any sticking out the edge, just flip it back over onto itself. So that will allow me to have my gift card position in that way instead of just this way, in case you wanted to have a choice. Another thing that I recommend when you're making gift card holders, it's good to put a gift card in there in the way that you're going to do it, so that when you press this down, it has a little bit of an area there for that pocket to work. Otherwise, it might be super tight. Okay. I love how you guys are talking about how you store things, sharing where you keep your scraps versus all of that stuff. I always put my scraps in with my full cardstock just because I find that I use it better if it's there. But yeah, whatever works for you, right? Okay, now we need the front of this card and we want to add some black here. But because we have this separation, we might as well emphasize that separation. And that's where the strips like this come in handy. The pieces like these come in handy. All right. So we're going to take and use something. Here's another one. We're going to use something from the box. So we have some pieces that were left over from the box when we punched out our pieces that look like this. Okay, these little guys came out of a sheet, and so I just trimmed off a little bit from the edges, and we can use that as our accent strip. So we'll flip this over, we'll put adhesive along that edge, really close to the edge, and we'll lay it down like that. So I like to connect my cardstock to the strip as the strip is lying down instead of trying to bring the strip to the cardstock. I think it's easier that way. And we can trim this off. And now we have a little accent piece on there. You'll want to have adhesive that doesn't go beyond this area. So then at this point, you can flip this over right next to the card. And if you do it this way, you can connect your adhesive onto this panel like that. You can connect it onto this panel like that, or you can just have it on one of the pieces and use this as a guide. Like I know I can come down about this far. So I can put my adhesive like that. Does that make sense? Because I see this guide here. So either way, on the end of each, or put them next to each other. And then you can take and line up the bottom. In fact, what I like to do is I like to hold this so that the bottom of my card is sitting on my table. And then I go like this, put the bottom of that layer there, and line it up like that so that the bottom edge is definitely flush with the bottom edge of the card. And that's how I got my layer on. Okay, the next step for this card is to take one of our pieces, and we're going to use this tag piece here, and we're just going to glue this straight on. But before we do, I'm going to bring in one of these triangular scraps. Not triangular, 5-sided. What is that? Pentagonal? It's not even a pentagon. It's a it's a polygon. No, I don't know. What is it? I don't know math that well. Okay, so here's our piece that it's not completely squared off or whatever. It doesn't look like a tag. And we're just going to put that on the back side. And I'm putting adhesive around the tree And it doesn't matter if it's exactly in the right spot or not, because we're going to then put adhesive all over the back of this anyways. Okay. All right. And you can choose to poke out this little hole. There's a little hole up here in the tag. And you can choose to poke that out, or you can leave it there. But if you leave it there, make sure that your glue dot isn't just attached to that hole, because we're going to be putting something in that hole. So we'll just center this, line it up, stick it down. Stamping! Oh my gosh, we have to stamp our art out. So let's bring in one of our sentiment pieces and our stamps. And on this card, we're going to stamp the words "From our home to yours." When I put my blocks against my stamp, I like to put them diagonally, so I'm not looking at the edges of my block. I also like my stamp to kind of relax on the table, and then when I pick it up, I know it's going to be straight. Another stamp that we're going to need for this one is the "With Love," so we might as well grab that one and pick that up with one of our blocks. And we need a circle. So these are the two pieces we're going to stamp on. We're going to grab our tuxedo black ink, and we'll first stamp our, let's stamp our "With Love." Oh my goodness! Did you guys see that? I almost started stamping without this guy. We'll bring it in. We'll bring it in. I'm trying to remember it. Okay, so we just pounce up and down, pick up the ink, center it. And with a circle, it's okay if you don't have it like I don't have to have it like that. Do you know what I mean? Because we can always turn our circle. But watch your straightness with your rectangular or square pieces, because you want to have your words parallel to an edge. So when I stamp this down, I want to look to make sure everything looks even, looks parallel. And I don't know if I got that really that well, but that's okay. It's good enough. It's good enough for live video. All right, this piece is going to go across the front here like this. And I think I have it just under the Christmas tree on my other card, so I'll do that here too. And this one's going to go on the inside, and I think I just put it on... I'm peeking off to the side, you guys. I'm cheating. I'm going to put it right here, maybe up a little higher and centered. And I'm looking at my word "love," and I'm making sure that it is parallel. The bottom of it is parallel with this edge, okay? And now we can stick our little gift card in there, either direction on this one, because we have the thinner tape, right? Or you could put money in there. You could put a Band-Aid in there. Anything flat. On the very top of the card is where we want to use the twine. Now, in the directions of the kit, for each of those 9 tags, they use up 12 inches of twine. And I did pull mine out and I measured it, and you have just a little over that amount, but you don't have much extra. So we're going to take, and because we're doubling and we need to use twine on each card, we're going to cut the twine in half. So we're going to use 6 inches of twine. On this one, I used the green. So I'm just going to use my grid paper here. Your grid paper does have measurements on it. So we're just going to take and bring our twine right to the edge here and go up to that 6-inch mark. Cut it. And then we'll do the same thing with our silver. And if it bugs you to have your twine kind of unraveling all over the place like this one wants to do here, you can take and put a little notch on the edge. And I think I did that. Yeah, it's over on this side. So I just cut a little notch there. Oh, you can't see because we're too far away. I cut a little notch at the top, just stuck my scissors in there and cut. And then I can take my twine and kind of tuck it down in there. And it should hold it for the next time before it's ready to use again. This one isn't unraveling too out of control. So we're just going to leave it as is. Line up the ends. Take and pretend that they're all one piece and do a little bow. So we're just tying a bow. And if bows are difficult, you can tie a knot. Oops. Bows are difficult live. Try it again, Rachel. Okay, this time we're going to do it. It's going to come through. Oh my goodness sakes. I think it was me sticking my foot in my mouth earlier that's making me still kind of a little stressed. Because the words I said earlier did not come out right. I just can't grab that loop. Grab that loop. There it is. Okay. There we go. So there's my ribbon tied into a bow. And you can adjust the ends. You can trim the ends if you want to. But I kind of like the ends all different lengths. And this is where you can choose between the glue dots. So you could put in a glue dot like this from the kit. I have to grab the backing off of it. I just find that they're not super strong. You could double them up, like you could put two on top of each other. Or you can just, invest in these, which are thicker and a little bit more sticky. And I'm just going to put that here, kind of roll it onto itself a bit and stick this down on top of it. And there is one finished card. And I'm going to show you the other card. I'm not going to do all 6 of these in front of you because we're already at 40 minutes here. But I'm going to show you the other cards that are similar to this. So for the next one, I would be using this piece, this triangular piece, which I positioned this way on the back. You can see it will cover it, but you just have to kind of angle it differently. I used the red strip with the words Merry Christmas. I used the red twine and the silver twine. And here I used some of the Sweet Sorbet cardstock. It's the lighter of the 2 reds right behind there. Now, if you end up using this piece instead, you're going to notice that it doesn't go edge to edge. You can cut it in half because your tag will cover up. It will cover up. See? So you can make it come to the edge. So that's what I used behind here was Sweet Sorbet. On the inside, I stamped From Our Home to Yours, and I have this piece here. Now, how did I do that? I stamped, actually first I cut. So I took my, can you guys hear the kids outside? We have kids outside. I took my circle and I lined it up where I wanted it to be. And then I trimmed it like that. And I didn't stick it down yet, because if you stick it down, then what happens is you don't have the other side in case you make a mistake, right? So I just cut it by, holding it there, not sticking it down, and then I stamped. So I'm going to use that word enjoy. Let's grab the word enjoy. And we'll pick it up with our block, ink it up. And now you kind of know where you can stamp too, right? If we stamped it without cutting it first, we wouldn't know how to kind of center it in that section. We might have stamped it too high or whatever. So now that's how I did that piece. And then I stuck it on like that. If I made a mistake, I can always flip it over and stamp on the other side. Okay, so that is the second of the 2 cards. This is the third of the 3 cards, the 2 cards, the 3 cards. So here's this one. On this one, I used the star piece. I used this section here. I used more of the Sweet Sorbet, red twine with silver, and then the black strip. So we're going to pull those pieces aside because we're going to assume that we already used them up, and we're going to see what we have left. Okay, so we've got our we got our layers there, we got our, got all of that. And then on the inside of that card, I put the circle up here instead, just for a little bit different look. So it's stuck up on the black area. Gives you more room to write. Okay. You guys can't hear me? I saw somebody say they can't hear me. It looks like the live is going okay on my end. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. Linda. Woohoo! She made her bow. Okay. Yes, so I'm going to set these pieces inside the box, or actually over here, because we used them already, okay? Oh, and one more circle too. We used a circle. So let me grab one of those circles. Okay, so what do we have left after these 3 cards are done? we have these tags here. We have these pieces here. We have these layers here, which typically would go underneath these strips. Like they would go like this instead. But one of them, actually two of them, are a lighter green color, very stampable. Okay, good, you can hear me just fine. You could stamp on these. This one here is a little bit darker, so that's where we brought in our extras. So we had some extras. Remember when I said we had extra of these things here? So you have an extra of each color. So for one of my cards, I use black. For another one, I can use green or red. So that one could go over that piece like that and cover that up. And then I think we had extra circles too. Yes, we had three extra circles. I showed you two because I already used one. So you'll want to use one of your extra circles for one of these cards too. So we have an extra sentiment strip, an extra circle. These guys. Okay, so then let me assemble one of those for you and show you how I do that. Let's do the Christmas tree one, I think. Let me see here. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to grab in a card base again. We're going to do the same thing we did with the other. So we'll use our adhesive, add this to the inside of the card. If you want to stamp first, that would be wise. I just kind of get going, get crazy. Oh, and I put it on the wrong portion. If you stick down something wrong, you can always do kind of like an angle pull. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm not pulling straight up. I'm doing an angle pull. I'm kind of like angling it this way and shimmying it. That's a better choice. Okay, then we stick this down up here because this is where our longer flap is. This is where our pocket is. Let's grab our seal adhesive, make a nice straight line here. Stick that down for our pocket. And inside our pocket is going to be, which I forgot to add, just a gift card like that. And we're going to stamp the word enjoy. So stamp that up here. Now, if you don't want to make pocket cards, you can just, fold your black card base like you normally would. Just score right through at 5.5, and you don't have to make pocket cards. It's just that this stamp set lends itself to making pockets because it says things like a little something for you, enjoy, for someone special, to, from, just for you. You know what I mean? It's indicating that there's something enclosed. And so that's why I turn these into pocket cards instead of just regular. But you could use different words. You could use a whole different stamp set that has different Christmas messages if you want to. Okay, let's do the next portion of this card, which is, let's bring in this guy here. He's fun. And I paired him up with this tag. So we're going to place this tag directly. Oh yeah, we got to do our black. Forgot that. Our black extra layer and our red, or our sweet sorbet. So let's put our adhesive on the back, close to the top, and we're going to pick up one side like that and pick up the other side like that, and that would be the way to do it. There's a gap in the middle, but it's going to get covered up. We're not going to see it. Oh, and look what Rachel did. Next one. Did you see what I did, you guys? I did what I told you not to do. We need those little pieces back. We'll just cut this one. Tell me what you think I did. Some of you may be going, what? What? This is a layer. This is a layer. So we want to make sure that when we put our layer on, we have the exposed area free. This has to be free of adhesive. Remember? Yeah, I made that mistake. Okay, so I'm going to look at this one and I can go down maybe one more extra little strip here. So we'll do this and this. Line these two up. Connect. Okay, we're good to go. Now we can put our layer on here, so we can just put the adhesive right through, center that. All the tags are centered. No matter what imagery I had, I still found that centering the tag was the best choice. Here are where the dimensionals come in. So we want our little moose or deer head or whatever to stand out. I think it's a moose. And so we will take and put 2 dimensionals on the back side here. And then we're going to use our strip that we're going to stamp on just to kind of position where this is going to go. And I think I want it about this high. And this is what I'm going to stamp on. So I'm going to use the words "just for you" this time. Just for you. Let it relax. Let the stamp relax. Pick it up at a diagonal. Ink it up. Center it, looking at the sides of your strip, looking to make sure your words are parallel. Stamp it down. I forgot my Stamp and Pierce mat. I'm using Seal. Snowy Mom just asked what kind of adhesive I was using. I'm using Seal, not Seal Plus. There is a Seal Plus that's slightly stronger, but I find that this is super strong, especially for just a gift card pocket. I think it's going to work just fine. This gets connected onto this piece, so we're just going to put some adhesive here and line. Actually, I'm going to lay this down first and then line it up, because I find that one branch kind of comes in more than the other. So there we go. And then we'll put adhesive across the back side of the whole thing. You could put this up on dimensionals. I did not. Mine is flat on both my cards. And center. And then on the very top, let's attempt this again, Rachel. Let's see if you can tie a bow, but do it with a little bit more grace. We'll see. Okay, 6 inches. And you can go crazy with your other twine. Like this twine here, you can definitely use more than 6 inches of if you want to, or you could use just that twine. You wouldn't have to use the twine that comes in the kit. But I think it's nice to have that little colored accent in there. I think it just adds a little pop. There we go. I did it! Yay! Yay! Having a party over here. Where are the ends? There they are. There's an end. I did it, but now I can't find the ends of my ribbon. Okay, there. There's one end. There's the other. Tighten it. And on this one, because it's a little uneven the way I tied it, I'm just going to trim off a little bit. Grab our glue dots. Here they are. I don't have the take your pick tool on this one because I'm not trying not to show as much. Oh, here they are. They showed up on this side this time, you guys. There's the glue dot. Stick it right in there. Maybe fold it a little bit so it's not so circular. That's exactly where you're going to put your glue dot, is right in the hole of the tag. And then stick that down. On the inside of the card, we have the word enjoy. And then we have our gift card. So what did I do on my other 2 that are similar to that? Okay, so on this one, I took and stamped directly onto the piece. So onto this piece here. And I made it so that the longer of the branch pieces went upward instead of downward, because I thought it fit onto the card a little bit better that way, because it's a big tree. It takes up a lot of room. Notice I just put just for. So when I used this stamp, I cleaned it off, and then I only inked up to the words just for. I stuck it into my pads that only just and for were inked up, and I stamped it down on there. Now, you can see that there's a little bit of space there, so if you're really careful, you can probably get the words just for if the whole thing is inked up, but I didn't want to risk it. And then on the inside of the card, I put you. So I cleaned it off again, and I inked up just the word you and stamped that down, and the little tiny ellipsis, or whatever that's called, I think it should actually be on the front. I'm not an English person, I'm a math person. But I put it on here because I thought it would be more fun on here. Dot, dot, dot. I just drew that with the Stampin' Write marker and then stamped the word Merry Christmas from the set. So that is how that card was put together. These both pieces are up on dimensionals. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4 dimensionals on that card. Do you see this? This green? This comes from either this piece or this one here, where I didn't peel it, but on this one I did peel it, and that's exactly where those pieces came from. Okay, stuck one on one side, one on the other. The last card looks like this. So this one's angled a little bit differently. This one's angled on its side. So the gift card is positioned this way with the words stamped that way. I had to use like one of the smaller ones, like enjoy or with love, okay? You have some choices that would fit that way. For someone special, to, from. You could do any of those skinnier ones that would fit that way. And on the front here, you can see I used the red instead of the sweet sorbet strip. So that's the red pieces under there. And the stars popped up on dimensionals, but everything else is flat. So I have a couple dimensionals under here. I used that extra circle and tucked that under the stars. So I first stamped on this, then I stuck it onto this piece here so that it covered up the square ends of that portion of the tag. After I did that, I stuck it onto my label, and notice it's probably, tipped up a little bit, which is fine because you're going to cover that up when you put your star on top. You're going to cover it up with your star ends, so you're not going to see that if it's tilted or not. And then this one has the green with the silver twine. Ta-da! Yay! All right, let's bring out all of our cards. We have that one, this one, and this one. And then we have these three. That was fun, wasn't it, you guys? I hope you enjoyed seeing how I doubled the contents of this kit. Again, this is the Christmas gifting kit. It's made so that it's created so you can create tags, but you can do so much more if you just take and separate out all your pieces and kind of rearrange them differently and add some extra cardstock for the base layer and some extra envelopes. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple things before we draw for prizes. And by the way, comment if you want to get entered into the prize drawing. We have some things going on this month of October. It's a very busy October. We have something called the Fitting Florets, and it is a lot of fun products. So we're going to go over to my blog at stampyourartout.com, and I'm going to bring you there right now. Oops. Click away from that. There we go. And okay, so here's my blog, or my website, I should say. When you're here, you want to click on the word My Blog. It will bring you over to the blog area. You can see Amy Rudd's beautiful projects that she did with the Rustic Harvest Suite. That was the last post I have in there. And at 12:15, you'll see these the images of these cards. But let's scroll to the bottom because that's where I add all of the promotional stuff is at the bottom here. Okay, so and I didn't put it up there yet. Okay, because it's going in this post. So let me run around to the other side of the desk. All right, I'm going to grab what I have here and show it to you in person because I guess I didn't post about it yet. So let's take that off. Let's go back to our desktop. Okay, I'm going to move these out of the way for just a second and bring these things in. Paper, dies. See, they're not even in a presentable format here because I thought I was going to show it to you on my computer. Stamp sets, embellishments, ideas. All right, so these are the dies. You can see that this new line of product, this collection called Fitting Florets, comes with 3 oval dies, really pretty stuff. This one just cuts hearts in an oval. It doesn't even cut like an inside. This will cut an inside. This will cut an inside with kind of a decoration around it. Then you've got these frame pieces, and you have some detailed dies, and they coordinate with this stamp set. So these two products, the dies, which are called framed florets, and then the framed florets stamp set are going to be available in the January through June mini catalog, which begins January 5th. But this is an early release product, so you can get in on purchasing them earlier, because what Stampin' Up! Did is created an exclusive limited time stamp set called Framed and Festive that has Christmas sentiments on it, and some paper that has kind of all season, including some Christmassy images. See that? So Stampin' Up! Created these things here, and these beautiful, they're called gold adhesive back swirls. Gold adhesive back swirls. All of this product, this stuff here is exclusive, limited time, I should say. Limited time product that you can get only through January 5th or January 4th or while supplies last. So that'll be available starting November 1st. Or you know what you can do? You can get the starter kit and you can pick these products in the starter kit, because demonstrators or people who are purchasing the starter kit can get in on this now. That's why some of us have it. Starter kit, there's a starter kit special going on. Normally you get to pick up to $125 worth of product, and you can pay for it with only $99 plus tax. Shipping's free. That gets you in to be a discount shopper. It's an awesome deal. It's always an awesome deal, but this month they've added an extra $30 that you get to throw in there too. So if your wish list is longer than $125 worth of stuff, you can pick up to $155 worth of stuff. There is a link for joining, or if you want to join my group, you can go to my blog at stampyourartout.com and click on the Join tab. The other things that are going on, clearance rack, they refreshed it yesterday. So if you are not familiar with the online store, you just go click on the shop button when you're on my website. You can go to the online store, or if you're a demonstrator or you have a demonstrator, go to their online store. Anyways, you go there and click on specials, and you can see the fun things that are going on the clearance rack. Some of it's gone already. It was a 2-pager yesterday, and today it's like 1. There's still some good stuff in there though that you'll want to check out. Paper pumpkin. Fun stuff coming around the corner, you guys. So in 2 days, I'm going to post for you how I quadrupled the cards from this kit. So instead of 9 cards from the Ho 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 October kit that just came out, I have, 36. 9 times 4 is 36. I will show you on Friday a way that you can take and make 36 cards from that kit, because we all want to make more than just 9 Christmas cards, right? And that's it on that. So let's go over to the computer now. Sorry, whenever I do this many cards, I sometimes go over a little bit on time. We're going to bring in the prizes that we had last week. Prize winners got to get in on a sheet of dimensionals and a packet of the, here they are, and a packet of the brushed brass butterflies, because we made these fun cards last week. And I also sent one of the cards to a winner last week. We had a winner from the US. We had a winner that was out of the US, so she gets to pick a tutorial because I can't send product. But if you're in the US, I send you product, so you would get this, but plus I'm sticking in one of those cards I made. So the 2 winners that were after live commenters, let me pull them up here. Drum roll. Brrr. Sally Schmuel, who was on our YouTube, she's going to get this prize. And then on Facebook, our commenters, we had Susan Moulton Monroe. So congratulations to both of you gals. You get to have those prizes. You got to reach out to me though. Make sure that you reach out to my email address at stampyourartout.com. What are the prizes this time, Rachel? This time, I've got a couple donated prizes from my friend Linda. Oops. Yeah, I still have that. Oh, good. I have my email address up there so you can still see it. And then I've also got packs of cards, which are great ways to double kits. The winners, it looks like we've got them drawn. Thank you, Trisha. We have Susan Air, A-I-R, and Sweet Jeanette. So congratulations to you two who are winners. Reach out to me at my email address so that you can pick one of these prizes. We have the Kerchief card kit, and we have the Simply Scent Everyday Elegance card kit. This one, These both do not come with stamps. They come with little labels that you can put on, even easier than what I showed you. You can make alternates too, always. Or you can pick from the note card and envelope pack, which are great for making alternate projects too. Oh boy. I'm going to let you guys all go. Next week is Wednesday, November, not yet. October 26th. We're still in October next week. October 26th at 11 a.m. Central Time, I am going to show you some ideas with the Fitting Florets collection of products at that time. So I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.